Greetings everybody, it is Christian from Cell Cymatics here today with you, and in this little video here I'd like to explore the topic of psychosis with you. So years ago, taking a lot of stimulants, being on a vegan diet, I even believed we didn't need salt as human beings because salt is inorganic most usually. And I didn't believe humans needed to ingest inorganic minerals because it could lead to calcification of your tissues. And I also believed that the absorption of rock salt was so bad that it was really not worth it. This combined with lack of sleep, poor nutrition, obviously in part from the stimulant intake and abuse that I was conducting at the time, this led, within a relatively short period, to me becoming, I'd say, severely psychotic. And by severely, I mean to an extent that I've not ever seen anyone that I know of personally go to. And I do know a fair share of people at this point who are either diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia or who are or has been going through psychotic episodes themselves. After having gone through these 2 to 3 years of just major psychotic symptoms, my own belief or opinion of what psychosis and schizophrenia is has shifted quite markedly. It runs quite contrary to what this modern day and age and what the psychiatric industry would believe that these things really culminate in, or what they are rooted in. I rather take the more metaphysical and spiritual approach to the matter. It is my own personal experience that what I experienced at the time, and also from what I hear from other people who have been through similar things, that what you experience is real. You cannot deny the actual experience because one experience is not more real than another. If it is experienced, the experience is real. So, undeniably, I had to conclude that what I was going through was, although it was not necessarily experienced by other people at all times, although there would certainly be overlaps where my heightened sensitivity and awareness of all these things beyond would most certainly also affect the people around me to an extent whereby they would be able to confirm some of the experiences, some of the supernatural things that I would experience at the time. They would confirm these to me. So with that, I concluded that there must be more to this. It wasn't simply me being crazy, although I was pretty damn crazy. So essentially, what I currently view psychosis and schizophrenia as is that you're really removing some of the filters of perception that our brains usually tend to put in place to protect our ego. So the experience of being psychotic is really quite magical. Looking at it in hindsight, I believe it is one of the most extraordinary experiences that I've ever had in my life. It has really been super magical, super powerful, and the sole reason that it wasn't clear to me in the moment how absolutely awesome and enjoyable this could have been was because my ego was still fixated on my old way of perceiving. I was not ready to perceive these levels of existence that are apparently beyond this plane that we're currently volunteering in right now. And it is quite commonly accepted at this point that there is so much more to life than we can see, sense, and experience in this moment right here on Earth, right? even looking at the electromagnetic spectrum and the tiny, tiny percentages that we actually perceive thereof, it should be abundantly clear that there is more to life than we see, sense, and experience. Obviously, that is not factoring in the multitudes of timelines, dimensions, other planes of existence that we cannot even begin to imagine or describe. I mean, there's literally endless possibilities of what else is there. So once these filters are sort of unhinged, or they're being perforated, and realities are just sort of intertwining and mixing in ways that are really rather impossible in everyday human lives, you really begin to question what is real at all. And this is really the beginning of the death process to the ego, because the ego is very much fixated on what it knows, what is real in its own perception, and that is how it relates to the world. So once that identity, or that belief in what is and what is not, is broken down or challenged to such a marked degree, the belief of what you thought was real, or the belief you held of yourself, your self-identified perception, that can no longer stand a chance against what it is that you are experiencing now. And it doesn't mean then that the ego just surrenders, puts down its sword and shield, and accepts this new profound reality of heightened sensitivity, aliens, ghosts, whatever it is, spirits coming in and out of reality, timeline shifting every other second, the symbology of everything, the synchronicity, just every single minute of your life. I mean, it's super intense, and the ego is not going to surrender to any of that. No way. So the position that you're in then is that you literally think that your core existence is at risk here. Your core belief of yourself is not able to go on under these conditions. And that is why we respond with fear. It is why we respond with paranoia in these instances. And that should really explain to you why or how psychosis and schizophrenia differs from, let's say, someone being a psychic or clairvoyant, or having all sorts of heightened sensitivities to life and other realms, because the only real difference, as I see it, is fear. And even talking about these experiences now, I feel the trauma still lingering in me from these very severe and traumatic experiences that I went through at the time. So in no way am I undermining the severity of it, or trying to paint a picture that this is simply a matter of setting aside or brushing aside all the ego identity and then you will be fine and supernatural. That's not what I'm trying to say here. However, I do believe, with my own experience in mind, that there is a certain reality to the experience of schizophrenia and psychosis. I do not simply believe that it is the biochemistry or the neurochemical composition in your brain being off, as some people in the psychiatric industry would have you believe. I certainly believe this is a spiritual and metaphysical issue that someone might encounter in their lives. For example, it is said that in the West, if you are schizophrenic or psychotic or whatever, you'll be put in a straitjacket. However, were you born in the Amazon, in a tribe there, people would consider you a shaman. So it really illustrates how much perception differs across cultures and how this can impact how we're treating these conditions. because I don't simply believe that people who are extrasensory to this marked degree are insane. I do not believe that they need to be treated as clinically insane. I think they need to be treated with the understanding that they are simply tuned in to other realities, higher dimensions, and other frequencies that they are able to dial into, which shapes their perception, which shapes their experiences of life in the moment. That is not to say that I have a solution to someone going through these issues. I do not have a solution. My own solution was simply to get my lifestyle straight, quit drugs, quit the vegan diet, start taking more salt in, Himalayan rock salt, and fixing my sleep. That and really just time was enough to heal. And I would say that despite the majority of symptoms being eliminated within the first year of just fixing my lifestyle, it really took a couple of years after that to not feel like that every time I was in the room with someone that they were plotting to kill me. So yeah, the healing process can take quite a long time, but remember that the brain is super adaptable, it's super flexible, it is plastic as fuck. So remember that even though you may be totally screwed up, or you know someone that is way out there and you can't relate to them whatsoever, there are still great chances for them, or for yourself in that case. And really, I would recommend sort your life out, get everything straight, get grounded, take your shoes off, go outside for a walk, perhaps consider the foods that you eat very grounding foods, meats, maybe some root vegetables, whatever. Just really get your nutrition in order. Minerals especially are responsible for a lot of nervous system relating issues. And yeah, most of all, sleep. Lack of sleep especially is the number one marker that I've seen both in myself and other people around me as the main reason for ending up with these sorts of episodes. So beyond all, take really good care of yourself. If you know someone in this position who is experiencing psychosis or schizophrenia, really just, even though you don't understand where they're coming from, believe me, you don't understand where they're coming from, just be there, support them on their journey, guide them however possible. It may not be easy, they may doubt you to severe degrees. It is really difficult to deal with someone that is experiencing paranoia. It is really unfathomable, and I would recommend you take very slow steps. Try your best to build trust with the person, be there for them however possible, and really come from a compassionate, loving place. Be as understanding as you can be, even though I wouldn't expect you to. But most important, someone in that position just needs loving care and attention. So with that, I will wish you all a very lovely day. Thank you for listening. Thank you for taking in these considerations. Perhaps you have alternate views or opinions of what is underlying these conditions or these experiences that some people may occasionally go through in their life. And if you do so, please do share them below. I'd love to hear about it. And with that, thank you very much.